Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 52, and today we're talking our favorite tools of 2016. What do we use in our daily businesses? Jonathan.
Yeah, you caught me out there, John.
Well, let's just tell the people who we are first. I mean, normally we have like we have guests. It's been a long time.
We're on our own, John, aren't we? We're on our own.
Man, it's been so long. I can't even remember the last time we didn't have a guest. But it's the holidays, so we gave him the next 2 weeks off. So
yeah, we were charitable, weren't we? Well, I'm going to introduce myself, John. I'm Jonathan Denwood, folks. I'm the founder of WP-Tonic. I do the WP-Tonic podcast with John Locke, my great co-host. And basically, we offer services to business owners, to agencies, to WordPress consultants. If you're looking for a trusted partner, come to WP-Tonic. Would you agree with that, John?
I would say definitely get your spoonful. And I'm John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design, and very similarly, I offer, WordPress development to blue collar businesses. And specifically, I develop custom themes, help people with their local SEO, and, help people with their WooCommerce integration. So, so we're talking our favorite tools of 2016. We've done a couple similar shows that will backlink as well. But, some of the things that we use like every day to run our businesses. One thing that we use internally a lot and that I've used on my own as well, I know you do, is Zoom. And tell people a little bit about what that is and why that's useful.
It's just a fantastic conference tool. I do still use Skype, folks. They've both got strengths and weaknesses, but I think when it comes to a fully functioning, there's so many aspects of Zoom. It's great for video conference calls. You can record the call without any third-party software. They give you the video and a separate audio file. You can use it for podcasting if you wish. We still use Google Hangout because we just found the sound quality was just a little bit better with Google Hangout. But I know a lot of podcasters that are using it. It comes with a fully functioning free product that you can do conference calls up to 45 minutes. The next version up isn't that fantastically expensive, is it, John? And you can do webinars using Zoom. It's a pretty amazing product, isn't it, John?
No, definitely. And it's something that you turned me on to with Zoom like earlier this year. And I recently picked up like a pro subscription. I think it was $150 for the whole year, but already it's paid dividends for me. I've used it mostly not just for talking with you and stuff like that, but I talk to all my clients who are out of town with it. And so that comes in really, really handy. You can screen share with it. And like you mentioned, it records the audio and the video. So for doing things like discovery sessions or maybe like strategy sessions or just, just touch and base, those sorts of things are good because then you've got it recorded and you can just reference that anytime you want.
And the key people behind it were the people that actually sold a company before called GoToMeeting. And they sold it, and after about 3 or 4 years, they started up this. Let's hope they don't sell this too soon. But I think it's really a lot superior to GoToMeeting, isn't it, John?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think in a lot of ways it's a good versatile tool. Doesn't cost a lot of money. You get a lot of use out of it. Pretty much you get all your, money back, your value back out of it, within a couple of uses. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Shall I do the next one?
Yeah, please.
I didn't know where to begin with this because there's so many things to talk about, but we're going to keep this short and sweet because I've got to go off soon, I know, John. But let's talk about Wistia, the video people.
Oh, Wistia.
Yeah, because I think still a lot of people don't know about them, and just a fantastic company with a very similar to Zoom, a really fantastic free product which isn't crippled, which is totally usable, and it's just a fantastic hosted video product, folks. With the free product, you do still have their branding, but it's not done in a tasteless way. It's done in a very tasteful way. And then if you can pay, it's very similar to Zoom. You can pay for not a really very expensive pro account, and you can brand the whole thing yourself. When you go up to the paid version, one of the great things they offer, folks, is that you can embed email capture if you're trying to build up your list. It's one of the things that me and John are maybe going to think about in the new year. One of the great things, John, is that if people are watching the video, it stops, and then it will ask them, do you want to give us your email address and that to see join our newsletter, basically. And it's got other features, and it's just a fantastic hosted video aimed at the kind of professional, somebody that's doing a podcast and using YouTube, or if you're in the corporate world. What do you think about it, John?
Well, the one thing that I always recommend Wistia to people is, say if they're recording videos for a course or something like that, because I have at least one client that does that, and if they've got those sorts of videos where they don't want people just downloading them and stealing them, but they want to put it behind a paywall of some sort and keep those videos protected, Wistia makes it pretty difficult to for people to go and snag that video without paying it, and so you basically get to keep your intellectual property safe. And like the other solutions like YouTube or Vimeo, it's a little easier for people to just download like the video. So that's definitely something that I would recommend Wistia for anybody who's putting together a course where they want to have information that's behind some sort of paywall, and they don't want people just taking the videos and then maybe redistributing them or whatever they do. So
yeah, and WordPress is big in membership sites, and a lot of membership sites are using videos. So it's really very, I thought it'd be a good starting one. Fantastic interface as well. Really easy to use, isn't it?
No, definitely. Yeah.
They're really, and great support. I can't say the support you get from them. We got any question in that? They just seem a pretty fun company anyway. I wouldn't mind working for them. Some of their promotional videos are hilarious, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. You got to check those out.
Could have good video, haven't you, John?
Yep. So definitely, here's a tool that I use like all the time too, and I'll mention this, and this is going to apply more to people who are running their own business and they've got a lot of like incoming and outgoing stuff, and that's FreshBooks, which recently they did an upgrade, and they did a lot of improvements to their user interface. They added a bunch of features. Basically, you can invoice people. You can see when people opened an email. So if you email them an invoice, it'll say, it's either sent or they viewed it. It'll tell you exactly, when it was opened. So if people try and say, "Oh, I never got that email," you can say, "Nope, you're lying."
Well, you wouldn't quite say that, would you?
I would, but you know what? I've never had to, no. But it's useful for that. That you have that assurance. Nobody's gonna. You have that assurance of like knowing that people either got it or not. And the other useful thing about that small feature is you can see if nobody has viewed it, and then maybe that way you can say maybe go look in your junk folder if it happened to end up there. There's a lot of cool things about it. You can keep track of all your expenses. You can put them in categories. and you have nice little bar graphs to where you can see your actual profit and loss for each month, each quarter, each year. Keeps track of all your clients. It's basically like a mini CRM in a way. You keep track of all your addresses, phone numbers, emails, and stuff like that. Another cool thing is you can sort your clients by reports, so you can actually see who's the client that's giving you the most money. You can say sort it like low to high, sort it high to low by revenue. You can see who's taking like a long time to pay, who pays on time. There's so many cool things about FreshBooks, and especially like recently, like they've done some upgrades that are really cool. So that's definitely something that I recommend if you're a small business like that. Do you have a tool?
Just a remark. I think it's a superb product. I have used it, but I use Zoho. But it's I had a little bit of trouble with it, didn't I, John? But they sorted it out. And Zoho or Harvest, I think you got a lot, But if you're looking for the cream of the cream, I would agree with you. FreshBooks is a pretty slick. It's another. Their support's really top notch as well, isn't it?
Yep, definitely.
I wouldn't criticize anybody to use it, because I used it myself. But look at Harvest as well, and or look at Zoho. Zoho's pretty amazing. Now they've upped their game considerably. So there's a lot of choice there, isn't there?
No, definitely, and Zoho's got a lot of good stuff too. Let's talk about them for a minute too.
Oh, blimey!
Yeah, I use them a lot for just setting up like emails, say for clients that only need like one email address or something like that.
Well, it's really quite good. Their emails, the free product is quite impressive, isn't it? Because I think but the only problem is if you want to go up to the paid version, it's a bit of a jump, but it's not ridiculous. So I think if you see the thing with the Zoho, the email product, folks, is it's so good, the free one, because you get 10 users, but then if you jump up, you've got to pay for each user, but it's only $26 a year, I think. And they're quite generous with the inbox size and that, aren't they, John?
Yeah, definitely. And Zoho is good. It's similar to Google Apps. It's different people, but that make Zoho, but you can definitely set up, like your email accounts. Like you use it for invoicing. It's a whole suite of apps. If you're looking for an alternative to the G Suite, that's definitely something you can look at.
I would say though the interface is almost as confusing as Google Apps.
I don't know about that.
I'm taking that away. No, it's not, is it? Nothing is more confusing than the interface of Google.
Definitely, man.
English sarcasm there, folks. But there's an element of truth, isn't there, John?
There is an element of truth.
God, they keep changing it. I think it's a test, isn't it, to keep you on your legs, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's the one thing that's constant is change, and especially with Google, all their products.
There's a tip, folks. There's a tips. Never do a Zoom with a client where you're going to show them how to use Google Apps where you haven't logged in at least a month before. You should log in. And actually, because they always change it when you're doing a presentation, and you look like an idiot, don't you, John? Because you don't know where anything is.
You can, yeah, definitely you
can. Shall I go on to another one?
Yeah,
a recent one, Agile. We've got a ton of, this is going to be a race, isn't it? Let's do this one, and then we go for our break. I've been really impressed with Agile CRM, haven't I, John?
Yeah, definitely, and we're using that for a specific thing within WP-Tonic. But yeah, definitely, Agile CRM is.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. People are a little bit confused about your role in WP-Tonic. I've had some email about this, John. John works with me, and he still runs his own business in Sacramento, and basically we do projects together, and we keep it simple, don't we, John?
Yeah, basically, we not only do this podcast, but we're strategic partners in a way. I mean, I know that you do, projects on your own as well.
Yeah.
And I do projects as well. But You know, there's some projects that we've done this year where we've come together like Voltron, and we've done projects together. So definitely,
And hopefully it
you
will
know,
continue. And hopefully it
two
can
people are better than one.
say that again. But back to Agile, it's just the support. William, the person that showed me, it's pretty complicated, but it does a ton of stuff as well. And I plan to get a bit more serious. The free product has got some restrictions. But you can still send 5,000 emails out. I've got some questions in the new year to ask them about that, about where it ends up. But it's, why would you use it? Well, it's a full CRM, but it's got a landing page template system. It's got the email functionality. It also comes in with inbuilt logic, very similar to Drip and ActiveCampaign. When you get your mind round it, though, it's pretty easy to use. It's got a nod system where you drag and you can link different events. It's quite mind-blowing, really, isn't it, John?
No, definitely. There's a lot there to digest, and there's a lot of things that you can do with it.
And you could spend hours on it, couldn't you, John? Hours.
Absolutely.
All right. Shall we go for our first break, John? Well,
yeah, let's go for our break. When we come back, we're going to be talking more. Our favorite tools of 2016. We're coming back from our break, and in this 152nd episode of WP-Tonic, we're talking our favorite tools of 2016. One tool that I use a lot for my local SEO clients is a little tool called Moz Local. I discovered this a long time ago when it was still called, I think it was like Get Local. But basically what it does is you, when you're setting up like your different profiles on the web, you want to make sure you get like your name, your address, your phone number, website information, all consistent all the way around. Because what happens a lot is, you know, these different websites pull from different data aggregator websites, and as businesses move around or different people set up accounts, you have all different like types of information. And it's very confusing to the search engines, and especially when you're dealing with trying to get ranked in your city. So what this does, Moz Local, is they work with directly with a lot of the major data aggregators, which would be Axiom, Newstar, Factual, Foursquare. They're actually in 2017, they're going to be working with Yelp. They feed information to Bing, City Search, you know, Info Group. Those ones basically feed out to like all the other minor sites on the web. So what's cool about Moz Local is I think right now it's $99 a year per location. And when you compare that to something like Yext,
oh yeah,
it's ridiculously cheaper. There's another product that GoDaddy has. It's called Get Found.
Ugh.
It's very similar. It's the same thing. I was confused at what it was, but it's basically the same thing as Yext.
I need to change my attitude. I love you, GoDaddy. I love you. I love you. Sorry.
All right. But yeah, definitely. So I mean, if the thing of it is like you see the Yext ads almost everywhere on the web, and that's why they get a lot of business. But honestly, Moz Local is not only like a better tool, but they are much cheaper. In my opinion, like a lot better.
Yeah.
Beautiful dashboard.
Well, it's a reputable company. It's another really great company, isn't it? They're pretty big in search, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. They're like a when it comes to search information and like research, they're kind of like one of the couple like companies that's like leading the way with, you know, kind of analyzing like how search engines work and how they actually form like their rankings. So.
Do you actually ever follow any of their whiteboards Fridays? I do occasionally, but it always loses me about 20 minutes in actually.
No, I always watch the Whiteboard Fridays with Rand Fishkin. Definitely, they're really enlightening. He's definitely someone to follow. Also, I would say Distilled is another account. They're big in search, and I would say Will Reynolds from Seer Interactive. Those three are like three that are really good if you're getting into SEO and following. Those are three accounts that I would follow.
Definitely. Around that thing, Brian Jackson put me on this. You know, a lot of people use SEM Rush, and it's a great product, folks. But it was, I was looking at something a little bit less expensive, and there wasn't a lot of choice, really. You know, there's like Majestic or Raven, which are great products, but for what I wanted. But Brian put me on to this one, and I've been really happy. And I paid for a year's subscription, and that's KW Finder, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I paid for a yearly one, and it's great value. And for the level, they've got different plans depending how much research you're doing on how many domains. But I bought into that, and I think thanks, Brian. It's been a great find. He also put me on another one that I haven't joined yet, but I'm thinking it's called Milk. Not Milk, Miles Shake.
Oh, Milkshake, yeah.
Is it Milk? Do you pronounce it? It's Mailshake. Mail Shake.
Mail Shake, yes. I think we looked at this a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool as well, because these services do great stuff, but it soon mounts up the monthly charges, doesn't it, John?
Yeah, definitely. You got to kind of pick and choose like what you want to spend your money on, or just ramp stuff up. But yeah, definitely. You can pay for it. You can end up paying for a lot of monthly subscriptions and forget that you even have them. So
what I tend to do is I tend just a tip, folks. I tend to pay when on initial service. I pay monthly, and then after a quarter month, I think, have I really used this product? Is it really helping me? Will I pay? You know, are they offering me? If they offer a really good discount on the yearly product, but I still think, I'm not really interested in the yearly product. That's a sign that you really shouldn't be using it.
yeah,
if you know what I mean. Because if you got 3 months into it and they're offering you a sizable discount for the annual plan, why aren't you taking it up? Because, you know, if they're offering you 30-40% off, you should really take it, shouldn't you, John?
no, I totally agree. If they're offering you a discount and you're already using it, then that's something you should do.
On the project management side, the one I use, and I think you've been reasonably impressed with it, haven't you, John, is Teamworks.
Yeah, Teamwork is it's like a project management tool, something like Basecamp, but I really like it. I like the UI. I like how organized it is, just having everything in one spot. I mean, there's tons of project management tools out there, but that one is definitely one looking at for sure.
And they give you a lot of choices on pricing as well. You've got about 6 different price levels, which is really good, depending on how many projects you've got going. It is an but they're all an investment of time. I don't think any of them. I know Lee Jackson kind of, he's got his favourite because he doesn't do these horrendous Excel pivot tables, does it? Whatever he was going on.
Oh, the Gantt charts. Yeah.
The Gantt charts, wasn't it? He's in love with his Gantt charts, isn't he, John? Always having a job, but he knows how to take it, doesn't he? But we've all got our poisons, haven't we?
No, definitely. No, and that's definitely something too.
See, it's not the tool if you're into that, and I was just taking the mickey, but he loves it, and it really benefits his business. He said the integration wasn't fantastic on that, so he uses another product. But if you're not into that, I've been pretty impressed. I looked at a number of others, and it was the one that Kim Dole put me onto it, of the WP chick.
Yep.
She put me onto it, and I've been really happy with it.
Excellent. I want to talk about a tool like, and this is more for developers and stuff like that. But you know, that's a lot of people who listen. But we'll talk about two tools actually, and that's for migrating your databases, migrating your sites. Is if you're hosting on WP Engine, they have an automatic migration tool. It's awesome. Basically, if you get your clients to sign up with WP Engine, you install this plugin, you put in a little bit of information, click the button, basically migrates the site over, the whole thing. So that's definitely something to check out. Now, if you can't get your clients to sign up for something like WP Engine, or if you're dealing with some other type of hosting, and you have a site somewhere that you're developing and you want to move it over, or you're moving a live site over to staging, what you want to do is use the migrate WB or migrate DB Pro. That is an excellent tool by the people over at Delicious Brains. It's super, super easy to use. You can do search and replace on URLs. Excellent tool. Will save you all the money you spend on it on your first job. So if you build websites for a living, that's definitely a tool worth investing in.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I kind of use two different slight ones, but the ones you've mentioned are superb. It's another area where you got a lot of choice. We actually are with WP Engine now for the WP-Tonic. They offered a really great deal, and I've never had a go out of them, haven't I? It's just that sometimes I come across I'm having a go, but I think they're a fantastic company, fantastic product. But I also think you need to look at what you need and what you don't need. But for the present moment, we moved the WP Engine site to them, didn't we, John? And it's been fantastic, hasn't it?
No, it's been excellent, and definitely like a gain in speed with the page speed. Definitely,
we'll be working on that in the new year, but it's endless lists of things to do in it and make your living as well, in it. But the ones that I use blog faults and WP Engine users, don't they?
Yes, they do.
But if you're not using WP Engine, they do a single license, and I've got a license a bit further up the food scale, and it's got a migration backup, and it's like I say, I think a lot of their stuff that WP Engine are using, and it works basically. It's pretty impressive. The other one I like to call out is Updraft Plus, because they've got their own hosted solution and their migration tool, and that works pretty well, John. So they're the two kind of tools that I'm using at the present moment.
I will say this, like I use Updraft on a ton of my sites, actually. Definitely whenever I'm developing this stuff, I use Updraft. It syncs to your Dropbox. If you're not using Dropbox, it syncs to Amazon Web Services, or any of the other cloud solutions that you might be using for cloud storage. For people who aren't hosting on one of the hosts that backs up daily, or even ones that do, I still recommend that.
I still use iThemes Backup Buddy.
Backup Buddy is great too. I totally recommend that one too.
I've got a developer's license on that, because I found sometimes and it's not worth finding out. Sometimes there's some setup that Updraft, it won't work with Updraft, but I found that if you put Backup Buddy, it normally will work with that. And we just don't want to spend the time finding out why. So all the client cares is that we've got to really back up, and when we put it on, we can get the staging site, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna point something out too, like really quick, and the importance of backups. I know that we've talked about it before, and you've talked about it extensively.
You just can't stress having multiple backups is
no. And I'll tell you what, I will tell you two stories really quick. These are two. The reason why you want to have a working backup of your site, not trust your host, but have your own backup of your site. There's two reasons. I had a client. It was basically came to me a couple of years ago. They were hosting. I can't even don't even know who they were hosting with, but basically something happened where somebody didn't pay something, or something happened. The whole site was like basically lost, no backup. And I basically had to reconstruct the site from archive.org.
Oh,
luckily 90% of it was there. There's a couple of pieces like couldn't save, but most of it was there. Luckily.
I bet this cost them a few bob, didn't it?
Yeah, but see, this is the reason you got to have a backup of your site, because if something happens with your hosting, if something happens with anything at all, you got to have a working backup. Another case in point, an agency that I used to work with like about 3 years ago, they reached out to me the other day and they said like, hey, our client, like her site, it's all weird now, and she was hosting on HostGator. I'll just say it. They were hosting on HostGator.
Well,
and
that was a great decision, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not gonna assign blame, but here's the thing. I said they have a backup. I don't know the ins and outs of what was going on there, but basically, like, the site is wiped out. It basically is like reverted to a like a blank site. Like
I thought you were going to say converted to a Wix site.
As if you had basically just installed WordPress. I mean, this is what I'm saying. You've got to have a working backup of your site that you can restore easily. Not only a working backup, but one that you can restore easily. It's so important. And that's what you do, Jonathan, is you provide that service for people with WP-Tonic.
Yeah, but I've got to be told, I'm pretty transparent, and I don't believe in putting your whole life online. I do believe there are some boundaries about your personal life, folks.
Right.
I've had some people that are prepared to literally discuss anything online, and I'm not prepared to go down that road. But I'm pretty transparent. I got to tell you, that's one of the reasons I was the worst on my own stuff when it comes to backup, folks. I was terrible on WP-Tonic. I just couldn't resist. Even I had a staging site, I still would load up stuff on the live site. So that's one of the reasons why we went to WP Engine, because they offered such a great deal. So Bob's your uncle. But I think people in the games, in some ways, can be the worst people, can't they, about their own sites, can't they? It's like
yeah, you can. I mean, like I said, like most of the stuff that I hosted, like there's a staging area, which at least I know I can revert to that.
Yeah,
but,
it's time.
That.
It all comes around time issues, doesn't it?
A lot of it does. Yeah. You're
absolutely right. And it's when people got a money site, this is why they want, I'll plug WP-Tonic, but you can go to, WP's site here. They're maintain. They're the ones I would recommend. WP-Tonic ain't your cup of tea. They're two very reputable maintenance companies, aren't they, John?
For sure.
And there's a number in it. There's a lot of people in that game, but I think we've proven. I've proven, you've proven that we're big supporters of the WordPress community, aren't we? And I think WP Site Care, the other ones I've named, are big in the WordPress community. I would suggest that you would look at somebody that's got credibility in the community, wouldn't you? But there we go. But backup, I just can't emphasize it enough, can you, John?
Nah, you gotta have backups, and that's it. And a good host and a redundant backup system. Don't just rely on your host.
We've all been there where we think, oh God, we've all been there, haven't we? And we thought, oh God, I've got another backup.
Well, you know what? The backups are a thing that you don't think about until you actually need them. You don't ever think about them at all until it's too late. It's
a bit like having really cheap, crappy insurance. You only realise that maybe it wasn't such a great saving is when they just won't pay out and they make your life a misery, don't they?
Correct. Yep.
It's a bit like that. Really. Where we go? Oh, we can still go on for a little while. I've got to be off in a minute. Anything else comes to mind?
As far as tools,
Slack. We haven't said Slack.
Yeah, Slack's pretty obvious one. I mean, Slack is like fine. I want to say this. This isn't really a tool, but it's a tip. And this is really like helped save me like a ton of time and actually helps me get stuff done. I run into like a lot of people when they're talking about like, I don't have time to blog, or, I know I should be doing it, but people that just never do it. But they can hold a conversation.
Are you talking about me, John?
No. But so here's a tip, and this is a tool. If you have like an iPhone, I'm sure Android has like a really similar thing. Notes app. Just use Notes, and basically you can use Siri if you have a voice recognition, or if Android, you can use Cortana or something. But basically, you just like open a new Notes. This app doesn't cost you anything. It comes with your phone. And you basically just hit the little right icon, and then you hit the little microphone icon, and just have a conversation about like what you're trying to write. And basically just keep doing that. And then you have your blog posts there. So sometimes you don't need to actually just sit down and write. Sometimes you can just like have the conversation and then email it to yourself and then edit it. And basically there you've got a blog post. I just
want to clarify this. Is it voice recognition? Is it?
Yeah, I use Siri. And she gets some of the words wrong, like sometimes, but like, but basically, yeah, you just.
But it's workable.
It's workable. Yeah, it's completely workable. Yeah, so that's just my way of, if I don't have time to sit down and write, because like a lot of the time I don't necessarily have like a whole bunch of time to write. That's just what I found is like a quicker way to actually get my thoughts out. So I'll just even go on a walk and just record it in just like a notes and then send it to myself.
Yeah, to wrap up, I'll go for a couple of quickies. Grammarly.
Love that app.
I pay for the yearly one. I just had to pay for it, but it's not bad. It cost me $130 for the year, but it's got a browser. The only thing is, it doesn't. They've got a native Mac app, but it doesn't integrate with Apple Mail that I still use. I know a lot of people. I'm just a bit old-fashioned. I have about 4 email addresses that all go into and it just gives me a central place because I've got 2 companies, plus I've got a couple other email. So I still use that mail. But I know a lot of people just use the Google interface, which Grammarly, it works superbly well with Firefox and Chrome, and it just works. It just really works really quite well. And I found it the best product for the best value. Another one that I use a lot. What's his? Is Awesome. It's a Chrome and Firefox extension. Awesome Screenshot.
Oh yeah, I've been using that for years. I love that extension.
It just saves you so much because trying to explain something verbally doesn't work. Well, it's normally some screenshots and you can annotate it. And there's another application that I use that I've forgotten. But I use that a lot, and it works with Chrome, and it's right in your taskbar. Boom. I still use another one is Dropbox. I going to move to? I use a mixture of Google Drive and Chrome and Dropbox, and I just decided to stay with it. I might change that decision. It's just a really easy product, isn't it, John?
Yeah, I love Dropbox. That's one of the essential ones, one of the very first ones that I got like years ago, and it's absolutely essential. I use it, not only to share files with other people, with other clients, with other collaborators, but to just back up stuff. I've got different folders that we share. I've got ones that are just for me. I've got ones that I collaborate with on with different clients and partners and stuff like that. So definitely Dropbox is an amazing cloud storage tool. You can sync it to your phone. You can sync it to, all your devices, and you can choose, who sees what folder. So you can definitely have like a type of workflow there. So
I think we'll wrap it up now. It's been, but I think we covered a fair whack, haven't we?
Yeah, I think this is a good, concise episode. So
yeah, not a ramble for me.
So anyway, yeah, in 153, we're going to be doing a year-end review of the year in WordPress, and maybe talk a little bit about our own year-end review. So
yeah, we're going to look at the different shows, what some highlights, what were the disasters and discussions about WordPress that were going on in 2016. Should be a great show, shouldn't it, John?
Yeah, a lot happened this year. I mean, it really seems like it was a lot happened this year. It seems like it was a short time, but then I really think about it, and it's like a lot happened. So definitely that'll be a show to check out.
Well, I think the good news, WordCamp US, I think there was some good announcements, and some I think it's going the right way, actually. I think there were some good decisions announced there, weren't there, John?
The one thing is, like they're slowing down the production schedule a little bit, or, just saying we're going to release stuff like when it's ready to be released, and not just because it's a specific date on the calendar. So I think that's good.
I really think I think there was identification of some of the weaknesses that need some concentration on, and I think there was some real focus coming back, and I think it all sounds pretty good for 2017, doesn't it?
I think there's going to be a lot of return to focusing on some of the basic things that need to be focused on. And now that we've got some of the complex things, it's time to go back.
No, I've had an occasional go at Matt. But I think his speech and the focus, I really think he was spot on with that. I say it as I really see it, and I give him full marks. I really think some good decisions were made or announced at WordPress US.
I definitely agree with that, and I think a lot of that too is some of the team leads that were on the development cycles. Definitely a lot of credit to them too. So
let's wrap this up. How can people get hold of you, John?
Well, you can find me at my website, which is lockdowndesign.com. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm lockdown_. Facebook, you can find me. It's just Lockdown Design, one word. How do people get a hold of you, Jonathan?
Oh, on Twitter, John. I've actually been engaging a bit more on Twitter. I'm looking at some automation services, but I realised that I need to get more person-to-person engagement. I'm determined to get onto Facebook Live, and we're going to do a lot more of that in 2017. I've been saying that for the past month, but I've got things to discuss with John about that. But we're going to get big on Facebook, John. Hope you realise that.
Okay.
And,
good to know.
But the main way is on Twitter at Jonathan Denwood, or email me. Email me at jonathan@wp-tonic.com, and you will get a reply, not instantaneously, but you will get a reply from me. And before we go, folks, I just want you'll be listening to this. Me and John just want to wish you a really fantastic Christmas with yourself and with your family. We do realise for some people it's a really hard time of the year if you're away from your family or you've got personal circumstances. But even if you're facing that, we do wish you a really fantastic Christmas. And you'll be listening to us. Well, a show will it be before the new year? Next show it will be, won't it?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, we'll be doing our New Year's Eve thing, kind of show about 2017, what came on in 2016. It should be great, shouldn't it, John?
I think it'll be good. And just a last reminder, if you're getting value from this show, leave us a detailed review on iTunes. We would love to get to triple digits. I think we have about 65, 66 reviews.
It's been going up a little bit recently. Folks, well, one of the other things we would love, and this is we're determined to do in 2017, is that we have now got a comment. You can place comments on the episodes, on everything on the WP-Tonic, and we love you to comment and give us feedback. The actual listenership of the show has grown dramatically over the past 5 months, hasn't it, John? And it's still growing quite considerably. But we would love to get more engagement from you, the listeners, about what we're covering, what you would like to hear, what you would like us to cover in 2070. Just generally build up a bigger discussion with our audience, wouldn't we, John?
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing. We want to get more involvement with our actual community or actual audience. We know you're there. We'd love to hear from you. Just, reach out. We're here.
Yeah. Happy Christmas, folks. See you.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. And peace out.